The chronoarchaeologists were flitting through the timeline. They were cataloging and filing intrinsic data, as fifth-dimensional beings with that sort of job do. I still don't understand designation 1A. You say these humans from dirt, was it? Oh, Earth. Right. Big difference there. Anyway, you were saying they became the dominant apex predator on their world? Indeed. Designation 22C. They became the dominant species, and in very short order attained sentience, technology, and spaceflight out into the galaxy. See? Here, and there. 22C was appalled at the short span of time that humanity took over the world. Their timeline was indeed compressed. Suspiciously so. To have developed writing, to spaceflight, in a mere 6,000 or so of their years, part of that including a technological dark age, was alarming. But, flitting forward in time, their growth outward and eventual demise were typical of other species that attained a galactic presence. Something still bothered 22C though. But I mean, look at them. When I compare them to bears, lions, tigers— Oh my, 1A interrupted with a smile. Eh? And sharks, and rhinoceros, and elephant, megatherium, heck, even the moa. When you look at those other apex predators and mega herbivores, the humans stand out. They have, well, nothing to speak of when compared with those others. Nothing at all. 1A smiled. I knew you would come to this at some point. It was only a matter of sixth-dimensional axiality. It said, describing the concept a fifth-dimensional being would call their own time. I saved a bookmark of a particular event that should explain it for you. Go here to this time in early human development and enjoy. The primitive human family pack was living in a cave in northern Europe. There was a fire at the mouth of the cave, and several animal skins were drying on a rack by the opening. The father of the unit was out hunting, and the grandmother was foraging for nuts and berries. Only the mother and the 2 children were at the cave when the bear showed up, following its nose to the cooking meat and the easy prey it smelled living there. It was a hard winter. The bear was weak and starving, and was also looking for shelter from the cold. This group of humans was doomed. As the bear entered the clearing, the mother screeched in alarm. The screech echoed off of the distant valley cliffs. It was so loud. The bear was not troubled as it loped in for the kill, mouth already salivating. The mother shooed the children to the back of the cave. 22C squirmed uncomfortably, not really wanting to witness this. Wait, watch it play out. You will understand, 1A said knowingly. As the bear sniffed around the campfire, grabbing hunks of meat and swallowing them in terrible bites, it then headed for the cave. The mother appeared from the darkness of the cave. She was blocking the bear's entrance. She held a sturdy branch as long as she was tall. Its tip pointed and charred in fire to a hard point in one hand, and a large oval stream smooth stone in the other. The bear stood up in light of this confrontation, towering over the mother. It was 4 feet taller and 1,100 pounds heavier than her. It looked bleak, but the mother stood defiant, a stubborn set to her mouth, and a fleeting glance to the woods in the valley below. A distant baying of wolves could be heard, and the mother smiled. Then the unthinkable happened. The mother attacked the bear. She threw the stone hard into the bear's face, and while the bear was momentarily disoriented by the thing that struck him in the snout, shaking its head in confusion of the sting, the mother lunged, leaping at the bear with spear held in both arms, for a powerful stab to the bear's chest. Holy shit, 22C said unexpectedly. I know, right? Wait, it gets much more impressive. The spear dug deep, but was ultimately ineffective at putting such a beast down. The bear swiped and batted the mother away with a powerful backhand, sending her flying to the side wall of the cave. The bear was slowed by the 5-foot pole sticking out of it, but it still headed deeper into the cave. A high-pitched growl came from its side. It was the mother. She rose, skin cut and scraped and bloodied, shoulder already badly bruising, and she lowered herself to a feral semi-squat stance, her hands tensed into raking talons, and she screeched again and jumped directly onto the bear's back, ripping and tearing at the beast's face and eyes, with her fingers careful to avoid the startled and snapping jaws, as the bear stopped and thrashed around to deal with this new surprising threat. Okay, now, holy shit. Indeed. The echoes of her second screech, still echoing faintly off of the valley walls. The baying of wolves sounded again as if in response, this time closer. The bear bucked and twisted, and eventually threw the mother again across the cave to the stone wall, where she landed hard. The bear was upset now. It limped to the fallen mother and stood up to pounce on her. She rose to an elbow, wiped the blood from her mouth, and smiled as her eyes flitted to the left. Crashing through the tree line, 3 clearly well-fed and powerful wolves broke into the clearing at a dead sprint. 22C knew that wolves were opportunistic hunters. This was still not looking good for the humans. But then the wolves jumped onto the bear, crashing it to the ground, and grabbing on with powerful jaws and tugging in different directions to pull it spread out on the cave floor, unable to get back onto its feet. The mother painfully rose to her feet, wrenched the spear out of the bear's side, and with hand gestures directed the wolves to shift the bear just so. They seemed to understand, and did so. The bear roared in rage, and that was what Mother was waiting for. She rammed the spear into the roof of the bear's open mouth, into its brain, and it dropped, lifeless. The mother slumped to the ground and the wolves circled her and started licking her wounds. That was surprising. 22C paused the timeline and asked 1A, "What is the deal with the wolves? Why are they treating the mother as a part of their pack?" 1A replied, "They may still look like wolves, because this is early in the timeline, but those are what are to become dogs. They are actually a part of the humans' pack. They are hunting dogs." Resuming the timeline, the father and a father from a completely different family unit emerged from the tree line at different spots, both at a dead run, clearly not as fast as the wolves were. As they ran up to the scene of battle, the mother looked up at them and said, "What took you so long? You missed all the fun." "Fun? Okay, that is well and good and all. Very impressive. But this really doesn't explain. Keep watching. Move forward a bit to right here." The family of humans were sitting, with other families from other caves in the region. They were all eating bear. There was more than enough for everyone. It would go to waste anyway, so it was a reason for a big gathering of everybody in the region. A celebration. The mother and children were in the center of the group, acting out the bear attack and events, with some slight dramatic exaggeration. The crowd watching all oohed and ahed as the story played out, in appreciation. Some of the elders from another family were painting the walls with dyes and powders they had brought, drawing out the story, for future generation to also know of and learn from. When finished, the mother placed her hand against the wall near the new art, and a red powder was blown to leave her handprint there for all time, to show it was her that achieved this. "This," Wana proclaimed, "this is why. The transfer of knowledge and practical experience between individuals. This was far before writing was even invented. Yet even at this time they were able to share experience between each other. If you catalog the population of the bears in that region, you would see it drops off to extinction. The story that was passed, told and retold over a campfire, taught everyone how to kill a bear." "I see. And that experience did not disappear when the person who attained the skill died. It became an oral tradition for all who heard it that carried on indefinitely. That, and many, many other oral traditions. When writing was invented, they became even more permanent. As tablets, as scrolls, as books. 22C started to appreciate it. So it's the human ability to learn, to read, and to visualize it internally in their mind as if they themselves were there. And that writing endures for many others to read, and that collection of writing just grows and grows." Wana nodded. "Yes, now you see how they became dominant species, and also how it happened so quickly." 22C thought of something. "Well then, how did it not accelerate out to the singularity then? Why aren't humans sitting here next to us now?" Wana made a pained face. Well, when the information age happened, and everyone was able to find out anything about anything from a device in their pocket, it sort of backfired." "How could such a thing backfire?" "I don't know. Fake news. Unverifiable statements proclaimed as fact. Campaign promises, fear-mongering headline news, Facebook, Reddit, Twitch, those kind of things. When everyone is connected to everyone, one thing became clear. The majority of humanity is ignorant and dumb. In previous times, only the smart ones got published into books. Only news that had at least some journalistic integrity and fact-checking got transmitted. By their early 21st century, any old doofus can broadcast any sort of garbage they come up with, and it reaches everyone. And there are many, many, so many of them just as a majority that it was hard to find any actual truth from then on. It just devolved into flat earth. homosexual frogs, anti-vaxxers, and other nonsense. Ugh. But that is for another sixth-dimensional axiality.